Okay, and now let's go on to the negotiation part. And we have Roland Abu Jones here to tell us more about his experience with negotiations. And there was a question before when to have an investor and when do you know that it's serious. So negotiation is always a very important part in any business deal, or also maybe not even business, but just with human interaction. So that's a very important topic. Thank you for being here. And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay. This is going to be more of a conversation. So if you're too far to the back and you prefer to come closer, please do. It's going to be more of answering your questions. There is the slides deck that would go towards that by PowerPoint. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to be more interaction, where whatever points that are interesting for you, we could address them. Now, a little bit more about you, then I'll introduce you a little bit more about me. You heard a little bit. What I'm more interested in is which sectors you are working in. Feel free to raise your hand and let me know which sector you work in, please.
Design.
Okay.
Graphic design.
Yep. Okay.
Culture and music.
Good.
Culture and music.
Good.
Culture
Together.
and music
Yeah.
as
Good.
well.
Somebody from another sector?
Creative quarter.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Which sector are you working in? Okay. So we have some diversity. It's clear. Knowing that you're going to be pitching a bit later, that's kind of the easy way. You're on stage, you're negotiating your position, somebody's listening to you, somebody's already interested. In some cases, you need to attract interest. In some cases, you start the conversation, but that the conversation stalls and the person from the other side stops communicating, and you need to trigger back their attention. There are some tools that are developed specifically for that could help you trigger that type of attention that you're interested in. So next point is, who have been involved in negotiation before? Just raise a hand. Perfect. Whoever was not involved in negotiation, raise your hand. Okay, you never talked your nephew to go to sleep? That is negotiation. Anytime, just to let's take it in a different way. What is negotiation for you? Any hints?
Conversation.
Okay. Any ideas?
A situation that's seen in two different ways and it needs to find a middle way.
Definitely. Anything else?
A situation, I'm sorry?
Yeah, please.
A situation in which you try to influence the behavior of someone.
Yep, totally true.
When you try to find balance between like what I need and what you have,
Yep,
and how much it costs.
definitely.
Process of making an agreement.
That's totally true. So all of those points are totally valid. Main idea is that we're always in a situation when you need to negotiate, you're in a situation where there are two parties who don't have the same opinion, where you want something and somebody said no. Or if everybody's okay with everything, if we're in total alignment, you don't need to negotiate. And in most of those cases, it's flat. There is no change happening. Now, who am I? I work in IT, I work in recruitment, and I work in finance. Actually, currently it's a payment solution that is all fintech, all based on technology. The market we're working with is Switzerland, and we're expanding now. So you can imagine, while constantly recruiting new people, while constantly working with investors from the market to sponsor the expansion into other countries, while talking to the business to try to negotiate what finance wants versus what sales wants, and how you can make sure sales gets what they want when finance are not okay with it, or compliance is not okay with it, or risk is not okay with it. And after you get all of that on track, you need to go talk to the development team and get the developers' consent that this is the way to proceed. If you skip any of those, your process is deemed to stop at some point, and you'll have to have the negotiation in the middle of it. That's one part of it. The other part of it is my background started in technology. Then at some point I realized that technology is very important. Knowing technology is very important, though if you miss the communication part, if you miss the understanding of the people you're working with, that's definitely not going to go well for whatever technology project you're going to be driving. So I moved into practical psychology. Not the psychology where you're sitting in a clinic trying to do psychoanalysis. It's more into understanding the behavior of the person you're working with. And then third, a passion about neuroeconomics. Neuroeconomics is a relatively new field. The focus in neuroeconomics is understanding human decisions, human behavior, based on psychology. And then from psychology, you move to the biology. You're working with the neurons. You're working on understanding of what type of hormones could trigger what kind of behavior in a human being. So we're taking it from the theoretical field into the practical field. And it's a really interesting science to get into. We're going to tackle some of those subjects as we talk. Again, at any point in time, if you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll willingly stop and discuss, because that's what we're here for. What do you want? What are the points that you're interested in knowing from this discussion? What do you like about negotiation? What do you hate about negotiation? Could be an easy entry point into this question. What do you like about, who likes negotiation to start with? Perfect. Those are good experiences with negotiation, where you engage in negotiation and you got what you wanted. What do you like about it?
Finding solutions.
Yeah.
Understanding other person's needs and motivation. And also through that finding some leverages.
I like more the process of negotiation. Of course, I like the results, but I like this process when you have to interact, when you have to read the person, to think about the strategy, and so on. But I don't know how to...
Enjoying the process.
Yeah.
Yeah. Else, we had other people.
Yeah, I like the part where I can understand how the other side sees the same problem we're talking about.
Yeah.
What are their viewpoint?
That's definitely important to get things together. What else? Okay. So, who doesn't like negotiation? Okay. Who doesn't like something about negotiation? Bad experience with negotiation. We have enough hands. Let's start.
So, first question was what I don't like. Arguing and moments when I need to get from the other person more than he's willing to give.
Yeah. Yeah. This is. There's always. We'll see it also as we move forward. We'll go as far as we have time for, but I'll start with this point. When you're trying to get from the other person more than they're willing to give, in many of the cases, it's that the other person didn't give you enough information about what they really value. In most of the cases, there's an example that's given in most negotiation courses about two kids fighting over an orange. Then the conclusion was split the orange in half, right? Everybody gets a half, everybody's happy. One of the kids eats the orange, eats half of the orange, throws half of the peel in the garbage. The other throws the half of the orange in the garbage, and uses half of the peel to bake a cake. Now, those are referred to by one of the authors of the book Never Split the Difference. His name is Chris Voss. What he refers to is, he refers to them as golden swans, sorry, black swans. By black swan, what he refers to is what are the things that would give you extreme leverage if you know them. So it's very important to listen, know what the other person is there to give you, know what they're trying to look for in that negotiation, and how to facilitate getting that. Okay, we'll get back to this a bit more as we move forward. Who else raised their hand on the multiple questions about what we dread about negotiation or
Karen
bad
did.
experience?
Sometimes it feels like losing
Uh-huh.
if the negotiation doesn't go so well,
Yep.
and the losing feeling like a loser is very
Yep.
bad and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally true. Now, looking at that, we call it the negotiation game. The more you associate your identity with the negotiation process, the more you're going to walk into the negotiation with pressure. You're going to walk into the negotiation under pressure, afraid of what's the outcome going to be. You're not going to have as much clear vision of what's coming. Now, it's also important that you associate some of yourself into the negotiation, because if you don't associate at all with it, you're going to walk into it not interested, and you're not going to have enough focus, where you're also going to lose. After the negotiation, you're going to look and see, why didn't I talk about this? Why didn't I explain this point? Why did I let go that easy? Why did I leave money on the table? So it's also important to have enough engagement into it, but not to walk into it as if it's the end of the world. It's never the end of the world. Sometimes I'd be negotiating. I do remember a point where I had a manager. We were discussing an architect who's leaving the team. That architect knows the solution from scratch, from the day we built it. And he wanted to leave. And we're trying to keep him. Then we got to the point where in the negotiation to keep him, he's demanding things that would compromise the whole solution. He's demanding to cancel all management and drive it his way. The response was, let him go. But he's irreplaceable in the team. The other comment was, I know a graveyard full of great people who were irreplaceable. We're still here. So regardless how at the moment it feels like this is the only solution, after that guy left, many people on the team who were underdogs, who were not even speaking, realized that this is the time where they can speak. This is their opportunity to show what they wanted to do and they couldn't in presence of that person. And we had multiple opinions. We moved from one person driving the solution into multiple people coming together, negotiating it, discussing it together, and ending up with solutions. So there's always a way. There's no failure. It's always feedback. If you take it, yeah, that also. Okay, anything else? Okay. Good. There's so much to cover. I will start with a slide that will give you almost everything you can take from this presentation, plus a conversation. So at any point in time through one of those subjects, you have a question or you have anything you want to discuss about it, you can send me an email or we can reach out and sit and discuss it further. I will list some of the subjects that I consider are very important in negotiation, the basics of negotiation if you want to, and the tips and tricks that would help you more in negotiation. And we'll start attempting to cover them one by one. Then at a later point, we'll move to a game, a negotiation game we can do together. So Getting to Yes. Getting to Yes is a negotiation strategy developed by Harvard University. It was started after the FBI had a major failure and they were sued. It was a hostage negotiation where the hostage takers were on an airplane and the FBI tried to take it by force. Conclusion, there was a very high mortality rate. Conclusion after that was a PR mess And then it resulted in the Harvard initiative to put together a strategy for negotiation. The people who made that book, the Getting to Yes book, are actually Harvard University professors, and they drive the negotiation course in Harvard. The focus was on a rational methodology, a methodology that you could teach to everyone, that everyone can repeat. And like every time when you put a process, when we're talking startup, you try as much as possible to leverage the knowledge of each person on your team. The more processes you put, the more you slow down the team. The more you bring everybody at the same level of the weakest link on your team. So in a startup, you try to avoid processes because you want to leverage the knowledge of the individual. This attempt was to try to get a process that everybody can repeat, regardless of their level of knowledge of negotiation, so they can start from there. It's really good, but the assumption in it that we are rational and that we make decisions rationally. Who in this room 100% agrees on this? Okay, we know how we make decisions. But there is a certain good approach in it that it gives a basis that we can start from. Now, next is the negotiation game we're gonna play. After that, we're gonna go to thinking fast and slow. It's an approach built by neuroeconomists who were doing scientific research. And as a conclusion of their research, what they did is they highlighted certain aspects of human decision-making and cognitive biases where it's fun how we sometimes behave totally irrationally just based on a certain way of perceiving things or the way things are presented to us. We're gonna discuss it. Never Split the Difference is more into hardcore negotiation. It's developed by the chief negotiator of the FBI. It was actually recommended by Zhenya. You're gonna hear her right in the next presentation. It's a really interesting book. This person never split the difference. It comes from his experience. When you're in a hostage negotiation, you're not gonna agree with the hostage taker. You keep two, I keep two, we're set to go. No, you have to get everybody safe home. You have to find alternatives to get things done. And there's where you go to more work on the cognitive biases that you can see here in the Thinking Fast and Slow. And more cognitive biases that you could understand from the perception of people, from neurolinguistic programming, which is another subject that if we get to, would be really interesting, but I also mentioned all of them. Just in case you want to continue your research on the subject, you can take any of those subjects, continue your research, and then we can discuss further at any point in time. I'm in Latvia, staying in Latvia indefinitely. Okay, getting to yes, rational. Separate the person from the problem. So we always start by a situation where there are two people who have different opinions or multiple people who have different opinions. It's very easy to assume that the other person is evil and you must defeat them. Outcome is two egos battling forever. There's a statement for it, manifestation of ego, when usually it's a male thing, but it happens in all across the gender spectrum when two people just meet and they start kind of trying to prove to each other who's the boss. In cooperative environments or in arrangements where people have worked on themselves, you notice that immediately and you stop and you let the other person speak and then you get back into it. It really helps when people are aware of it. But if you assume that the other person is the problem, the only alternative is an ultimatum to eliminate the other person. And that's 99% of the times not necessary. 99% of the times, you don't really need to eliminate the other person to get what you want. Probably you don't want to split the lemon in half or take all the lemon yourself or give him the whole lemon to them and just let it go. You want to try as much as possible to have the other person next to you, looking at the problem that you have and trying to find solutions for it. we're very much tempted sometimes to assume either I win or I lose. Or if I win, the other is going to lose. Or if I lose, the other person won. In so many cases, both lost because they couldn't tackle the problem together. Focus on why they are asking for something more than what they are asking for. Why do you need the lemon? Maybe we can find a consensus where I take the peel, you take the lemon, and life is good. Or maybe you take a photo of the lemon if that's what you want, post it on Instagram, and then I get the lemon. You'd be surprised how many people would do that. But I want this dessert, yeah, for the Instagram photo. But that's kind of, in so many places, it's important to know why the person wants it. And there are techniques that you'd see in Never Split the Difference that would help you understand, help you let the other person talk about why they want something. Work cooperatively to generate creative solutions. Once you've established that the other person is not your enemy, they're your partner in this discussion, and you're trying to understand why they want something, then once you understand what they want, you can sit together and work on finding solutions. Most of the times, it's very important to try to get something out of the box, to get something out of the original proposals. The most obvious proposals, most probably you thought of them, the other person thought of them, and you both agreed to disagree. That's why you ended up in that tense situation. So it's important to try to think outside the box, try to look for alternatives. And the last point is agree on a standard to evaluate those solutions. So it's not about if it's fair or not, because my version of fair is different than your version of fair. It's very important to look at what are the standards we're going to look at to validate if this thing is fair or not. And once you've established those standards, maybe you could look at precedents, cases where it happened before. If we're talking about quality control in an organization, about what quality control rules you have to abide by based on third parties. If in all scenarios, there could be some references out there, or statistics out there, or studies done that could allow you to establish a basis on which you're going to discuss what works, what doesn't, or what defines what's fair. Okay. Any questions about this before we move to the game? By the way, by game, I mean we're all coming in here. So you better have questions. Any questions so far? Okay. Then let's start with the game. I'll explain the rules of the game. In the game, you're going to be standing 4 and another 4 next to them, and one person's going to be more like a judge. So that person is going to need to take notes of the score. Each person, so we're going to be standing, I'm going to be standing here, somebody in front of me, and it's going to be 4 people, and the 2 of us are going to be choosing to put on a sticky note either split, steal, or you're a stealer. What does that mean? We have 2 points in discussion. If I say split and you say split, I will get 1 point, you'll get 1 point. If I say split, you say steal, you get 2 points. Because you stole from me and I'm trying to split, so you win. It's the initial position in a negotiation. I say split, you say you're a stealer, I get 2 points because you assumed bad will, just to motivate goodwill. If you say steal, I say steal, both of us lose. Both of us get 0 points. Last is, if I say steal, you say you're a stealer, so you've predicted that I'm going to be stealing both points, then you get the 2 points. Okay? So there's always 2 points. What we're going to do here is, you're a stealer, both of us lose. So if we both assume bad will, we're both going to lose. Okay? Let's do it in a way. Please, join me to the front, first 4. Please, also join us to the front. Okay, we got our first 4. Sticky notes. Please keep with you each 3 sticky notes.
Yes, please use the.
Person who's gonna be the judge with us here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We need 2 more. Not gonna join us? Yeah? Join us also? You'd be our judge. No? Would you join us, please? Thank you. So usually I start with an intro. None of you are forced to be here. The idea is it's up to you to learn from this. It's going to be dreadful. You're going to be put on the spot. Everybody's going to see you negotiating your positions. Probably it will be easy that there will be 4 people negotiating the positions at the same time, so you're not going to be 100% on the spot, but you'll be the ones who will learn the most from it. And we can discuss it also. Okay? So we got our first 4, second 4, and somebody taking, who doesn't have sticky notes yet? Okay, judge. Okay, judge on the board, taking notes. And we're gonna have team 1, team 2, team 3, team 4. So each of you will have 1 minute to discuss on the first team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then we switch, 1 goes to 2. And then we keep on switching. You add 1 number. So first you discuss 2 ones together, then the 1 discusses with the 2, and then everybody moves 1 number. Anyway, if we mess it up, that's fine. Just you have to do it 4 times to try all 4 people you're discussing with. And you're gonna be keeping the count for us for who won on each team. Okay, I'll simplify it. We have column A and column B.
Okay. Yes, make it
A, 1, 2, 3, 4, and B, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? If you want to, we can even put the initials. So column A, 1. Can you give us your name? Karen? Okay. K, what's the other family name? K-A.
R-I-N.
Okay. Family name initial?
Like
S. Okay. A2?
Lead LS.
LS. Okay.
ST.
ST. DS. Okay, so what we're gonna do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1. We count the dots any way you want to. Okay, main idea is to keep track of it. So B1, IS. Okay. MS. Microsoft. AK. Okay. DM. Okay. I will start counting the time. Or if you want to, you can use your phones also to keep track of the time. We'll start the first negotiation session. First 2, you come together, you start discussing it. You can start, I'll start the timer. After you're done, we want to know what was the conclusion. So once you're done negotiating it, after 1 minute, you can both pick up the paper and then we'll see the result. Okay? So timer starts. You can start the discussion. I'll start the timer and I'll let you know when the time is done. Okay? You can start. Any questions first before we start? Any questions?
I don't understand anything.
Okay, let me explain it again. So, you have 3 papers.
Make a real life example.
Okay, sticky notes. Can I take your sticky notes? Okay, so we're working on it together. We have 1 minute to discuss. So here, I'm gonna be trying to discuss with her what she's gonna choose, or how she's gonna choose, or why she should choose one over the other. So I might start by saying, maybe if we both choose split, you get 1, I get 1. How can I know that you're not gonna choose something else? And that's the discussion that you're gonna have. So mostly you need to get to a certain consensus of what the other person's gonna choose, what you're gonna choose. Still at the last moment, each has the right to choose any of the 3. Okay? So we can agree that we're both gonna use split, which is the default agreement, 1-1. But then I could just steal at the end of it, and I'll get 2 points. At the conclusion, we're gonna see who's gonna win. And that's kind of a motivation to let greed in, let other interactions come in. And the first time we agree, I go split, she goes steal, she gets 2, I get 0, and I'm gonna go talk to the other person. I'm gonna come in with prejudice. I've had all that discussion with the first person, and we agreed to split, but then she didn't split. So, yeah, they all lie, you know? And then you go hit for it. And then at the end of it, let's say choose your paper. You choose whatever paper you want. I'll choose some paper here. Okay. Cool. So I finalized my choice. What did you choose? You chose steal. I chose you're a stealer. So, conclusion, steal, you're a stealer, I get 2 points. Because I knew she was gonna steal. So I get 2 points, and then we add 2 points for me.
Exactly 1 word to you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't guess. That was just a good luck chance. Yeah. What I say also influences the choice. What she says also influences the choice. It's a two-way game. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Okay, anybody doesn't have sticky notes yet? Anybody last minute changing opinion? Sticky notes? Sticky notes? Sticky notes, sticky notes, sticky notes. Okay, your sticky notes, sorry. And we start now, please. Okay. 12 seconds. You can put it in the pocket if it's better, on the side. We can connect it here if you prefer. Okay. Okay, now conversation is over. Choose your papers. Take your time, choose the paper, turn around, choose which paper you want, and show us the paper. So here we had a decision, both decided to split, each got 1 point. Okay? Both decided to split, that's good. Both decided to split also, that's a fair game. Both decided to split, that's a really fair game. Yeah.
Should
No, but that's good. That's good. One thing I want to highlight to you, that at the end there will be one winner. So one person will bluff and they will win.
What's the prize?
We'll see. You might get to get a Mercedes. Who knows? Let's discuss it with the sponsors. Okay, so what we want to do, you come to this side. Everybody shift one person. Yeah, you're here. You're here. Okay. Now we start again. Yep, feel free to start. Are there other 8 people who want to join? Try also. Hands? We can do 2. Okay.
Actually, I put the same day that maybe smarter to suddenly split. Because then you don't risk losing the points. But on the other hand, if everybody were always splitting, there is no winner.
But you're also like you're not winner, you're not loser. Like when you split, you're in between.
Okay. Time is over. Choose your papers. Okay. You don't have to tell. Prepare your paper. So we got both split here. Okay. Both of them get 1 point. Each of them gets 1 point. No. We have AK. So, yeah, DS and AK, correct? So this one we keep, and this one we remove. So here, DS and AK. Now it's going to become, now just highlight it again. Cool. So we have 2 on each. Okay, next. Okay, you're a stealer. Split. Okay, so she decided to split. He decided that she's a stealer. She gets 2 points. He gets 0 points. Can you give us initials, please? ST gets 2. Okay, that's it. Next. Steal, split. Okay, you get 2 points. You get 1. Because you decided to split with her. She decided to steal, so she gets both points. Okay, initial? No, initial. IS, 2 points. Up here, 2 points. Okay. Split. Split, okay, 1 and 1. Initials?
KS.
KS? DM. Okay. Also, 1 step here, and everybody moves here. We're starting again. Now it's more luggage and the more background to the story. You come with your backpack, and your reputation precedes you in some cases. Yeah.
Let's split then.
Okay. Okay, everyone, please prepare your paper. This time we're going to do it all together. Prepare the paper, put it behind your back. Okay? Yeah? Okay, so show us your paper. Split, split, 1 point, 1 point. Initials?
MS and DS.
MS and DS. Okay? You're a stealer. You're a stealer. Okay. 0-0. Nothing to note. Okay. Split. Okay. 1 and 1. And also split. 1 and 1. Okay. So initials also. DM and DM1 and LS1. Okay. Initials also. KS and AK. Very good. One more round, shall we? Okay. This way you'd have tried all 4 people. So feel free. Take your chances. Look at your numbers on the board and take your chances. No pressure, but... Okay. The bell has rang. Please prepare your papers. Very good. Everybody has their papers ready? Hard decision. Okay, ready? Show your papers. Steal, split. Okay, she gets 2. Initials. Yeah, that's the last round. Yeah. Split. Initials.
LS.
1 point.
AK.
AK 1 point. Also. Steal, you're a stealer. Okay, 2 points. What's your initials?
DM.
DM, 2 points. Okay. Split and steal, 2 points. Initials? IS. 2 points. Okay. Now, before you go to your places, just to explain one thing, this was a game. No fighting after. Okay. Let's see the results. Let's count. What do we have? Okay. DM, please stay. IS, also 5. Please stay. And KS, also 5. Please stay. For the rest, we're going to start by getting your opinion on your experience. So everybody who had 5 points, please stay on this side. Okay. For the rest, let's start with your opinions. What do you think was the most important lesson in this game you had? Or what do you notice? What's your impression?
It's very hard to trust people that you don't know. If you don't know their background, if you don't know their motivation, everyone can cheat at. Everyone can cheat at some moment, and you can never predict the outcome of negotiations unless you have made some contracts about fines if you do this, or if you break your agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, like the clause, what happens if you break your word? It's very, very important in negotiations.
Yeah. Next.
Now it's working.
Yeah. What was your experience?
Anyways, I'm happy with my decisions and my conscience. So that's most important for me.
Okay. So we see first practical lesson learned. Second, principle. So you'd start noticing the priorities, different priorities. Here we're looking at what can I learn from it. Here we're looking at how will I feel about myself afterwards, which is also important.
I think once I I didn't make my decision what I thought.
Yeah.
But I think always split to split, then the all who take part of it, then they have the same sum of points.
Yeah, that's true.
Even is better to be than unequal.
Yeah, yeah. Cooperation rather than one winner and losers.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, maybe in real life I would do it in a different way. So I really would more concentrate on split, that the both sides get as happy as they can be. So, but here what I learned, so it was quite hard because I don't know the people. So, and for me it would be more easier. So if I get more some background about the people with whom I'm negotiating and so on.
That also helps. So it's important to know the background. It helps a lot to know who you're dealing with. You could hear from the people next to you who were negotiating with that person before, if they were happy about it or not. This is kind of a shortcut to reputation. But in real life, if you negotiate based on principle, people will know that you negotiate based on principle. Some people will care about it and will want to negotiate based on principle. Some people will abuse of it. So you cannot guarantee, but it's also important. Yeah.
Well, I do know that I'm really naive. Normally, and I know it. So I think in real life, I would just get a second person's opinion when it's an important topic, not to be screwed over. So I know myself.
In this case, we clearly defined it black and white, so that the only way to move forward with a fair game is split. But then one person pokes you here, one person pokes you there, and you don't win. So it's designed in a way to trigger that kind of challenge attitude. Okay. What was your recipe?
Well, first, I think it doesn't matter in this game so much the background of the person. And I was trying to focus not more on convincing the person, but reading this person. Eyes, the body movement. And for example, when I was negotiating with Leah, I could understand that she was trying to figure out if she could trust in me or not.
Yeah.
And at the moment I thought, oh, I could put a steal because I'm going to win of her, but I prefer to move on. When I was negotiating with Sigita, I could understand that she was thinking more about strategy than if she could trust on me by her body movements. So I could realize that she was going to choose steal, and I could choose the best strategy for me.
More of a strategic, goal-oriented approach than...
Yes, and then I think sometimes that the important about negotiation is, of course, you need to have your own strategy, but you need also to stop, to become to focus and read the other person, what the person is thinking, the person reactions, something like that.
Okay.
So this was my strategy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
So reading body language and focusing on trying to understand the motive of the other person.
Yeah. First, it is just a game, and then I was against a stranger. Of course, I was polite and split the points.
Yeah.
But then I faced Margus, who is familiar to me. Then at first we agreed that this is just a game, and it's that it's fair to split the numbers. And then I said, but I have nothing against to winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a lady.
Fair. So ladies, go
and
first.
if you are a gentleman,
I've seen that twice. I've seen that twice, and both times it worked today here.
And then you will give your points to me. And I was honest that I will choose steal.
Yep.
So I didn't lie.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe for him it was more to show courtesy, for her more to win. It's fair. Yeah.
I started with the simple option, with splitting, just to feel how the game is going. And when I met the last person, there was win or lose situation. We can have 4 points and then we are all the same, or have 5 points. And the scary part was when he asked me where I'm working, because he wanted to know my background. And I said I'm working in a market, and I thought, this is it, he will see through me.
Yeah.
But it seems that I made this positive feeling that I'm nice and I won't steal.
Can I get any bit about like this background? Because maybe that is a difference between huge towns and small towns about this background, because we are also doing some kind of market stuff, and we have like this design store in this beautiful small town of Cēsis.
Yeah.
And then there is Kalnsijama kvartāls, which is like a huge, like all the Riga is much more goal-oriented result, more cash, more things, more stuff, and faster. So you have to take into account also this regional background.
Culture, yeah. That also affects it. Okay, thank you everyone. Put your hands together for everyone. Everyone's a winner from your experience, because it's kind of the shortest, quickest version of a negotiation game. It will give you an idea how you're gonna be doing things, and it will give you all the feelings you'll get in a negotiation in a matter of 1 minute. And it's intense. 50 minutes, do we continue 10 more? 50 minutes already. We continue 10 more or we close? Okay, so control in negotiation. Now, it's very important to highlight control in negotiation, but not to fool you. What's meant here is a different type of control. It's not who controls the negotiation. If you really want to control the negotiation, first, you help the other feel safe and secure. You help them feel that they have control. And if they feel that they have control, they will trust why you will choose split, or why you will care for what they want. If the other person doesn't feel control, you have no way to get them to trust you. In a way or another, giving control, it's a paradox. Giving control is what's going to give you control. If the other person trusts you, then you have control of the negotiation. It makes negotiation a game of information gathering and behavior influencing. We started with it, and the main idea is understand the other person's behavior, understand the other person's motives, where they're coming from. It will always allow you to have more influence on the negotiation. Another point from NLP, from neuro-linguistic programming, is the element with the most behavioral flexibility will end up directing the system. In any situation, it's those who are most flexible who end up surviving it. Not the strongest. It's not survival of the strongest. Survival of the fittest. But in reality, it's more the most adaptable. The more you can adapt to the situation and drive forward with it, the more you have possibility to win at the end of it, or to guide the situation to the direction that you want. The more the other person trusts you and you can deliver on that trust, the more the next time you'll meet that person, you will have a reputation of trust, and they'll deal with you fairly. You won't have to go through that clash in the beginning. I will stop at that. The PowerPoint presentation, I'll share it with the organizers. There's more content on each of the books that were mentioned, on each of the methodologies that were mentioned. We can also continue that discussion at a later point anywhere you want to, and you can look at the content. Any questions that remain in your mind? Any open questions? Yeah.
How to build trust in a situation like that in the beginning when you don't know the person?
I will jump straight to another slide. I'll skip thinking fast and slow because it works on tricks. I'll move to never split the difference. And I will highlight the points one by one super fast. First, we have mirroring. When you're talking to a person and that person says something, let's say she told you, I will choose split because I think it's fair. Mirroring in this scenario is fair. You just repeat the main concept from it in the same word that person said. It will allow them to talk more. You will get to hear more from them. Rather than, what do you mean? What do you mean sounds more offensive. Okay? So this is one point to get the other person to talk more. Help them tell you more. The next point is start with no, as in let the other person voice their concern. Let the clash that could happen be labeled, let it be seen. It will give the other person the feeling of control. When a person says no on something, when a person disagrees with you on something. So here it's a direct conflict of interest, which is the other person is, the underlying dynamic, the most scary thing in it is that I will trust you and you will steal. If you can bring that on the table and you can say, it sounds like you're afraid that you will trust me and then I will steal and you will end up losing the points. What you're really targeting there is to get that's right, to get the other person to agree with you on that. The moment you started with no, rather than drilling for the yeses, which makes people feel spooky, you're letting the person raise their concern, you're labeling it for them, that sounds like, that feels like. And after they express that clearly, the idea is to get them to tell you that that's right, not you're right. You're right means somebody's just telling you, okay, to get rid of the argument. If they say that's right, to my mind, this is somebody who really believes it's a truth. This is another point that you can target, and all those are in that book that I mentioned. It seems like, it sounds like, it looks like. So I'm labeling your fear. If you tell me that's not right, I didn't say that's it. I said it sounds like. It sounds like, it looks like. Okay, so you still have the way to say, it just sounded like that. And you move along. Give it a name, it will, okay, when somebody's afraid of something, it's the amygdala taking control, it's pushing cortisol in the blood, it's pushing also those hormones that make you feel agitated and angry. Once you label it, it becomes out there in public and you're discussing it rationally. It moves it from the part of the brain that controls fear to the part of the brain that's more rational, that's more able to discuss calmly. And it's very important first, after labeling the point, to let the person talk. Label it and let them talk. You might feel that it's awkward, but just do it. Trust me, they're not gonna tell you, don't control me. Let them talk after that. Neutralize the negative. Once there's something negative, discuss how together you can guarantee that it's not gonna happen. You cannot do all this in 1 minute, especially if you just learned this, but with time. And last point is clear the road before advertising the destination. So before saying, let's use split, because 1, 2, 3, no. What are you afraid of? I need to know that first. I need to get you to agree with me that I understood what you're afraid of. Then after that, I would go to discuss what could be the solution. Even better, if I let you choose the split rather than me saying we choose split, it's an obvious choice for two trying to reach an agreement. If I get you to say we go split, you will own to the decision more because you proposed it. You want to prove that it works. So clearing the road before advertising the destination. Look for a that's right, not you're right. So that's kind of the approach behind it. 58 minutes. I'll cut it short. Tactical empathy, what we're looking at is to try to sit in the other person's shoes, to try to understand where the person is coming from. without having to agree with them. It's very important to know you don't have to agree with them. And some of you used it already, the words song and dance. Words is what are the words that are being said. The song is actually the voice tone, if the person is talking fast, if the person is talking slow. And the dance is actually the body language. All of it can explain. We'll stop at that for now. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hope you got from it what you were looking for. And if there's anything you didn't get from it, feel free to send me an email or contact the organizers. They'll share my email, and we can discuss further. Okay? Have a super evening. Thank you.